many of us here. On behalf of the Faculty of Life Sciences, I warmly welcome you. There are other heroes that have fallen, like Professor Alloway, Professor A.J. Nock, Professor Jato. We are going to also, this is the beginning, this is the first one. We are also going to pay tributes to them. So on behalf of the faculty, I warmly welcome you all to this lecture, and I want to thank you for honoring our teacher, our mentor, our father, our colleague, and our hero. May his legacy inspire excellence, compassion, and service in all of us. Thank you and welcome to this event.
Thank you very much, Dean, Faculty of Life Sciences. Please can we once again put our hands together for her? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may we all be remembered for good legacies. And it sounds, or rather, it feels wonderful, you know, for family members, colleagues, and associates to be pouring encomiums while someone has even left, you know, this world long before. And I think this is something quite remarkable. This is something worthy of emulation. Thank you very much once again, ma'am. And next, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is address by Vice Chancellor of Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Professor Adamu Ahmed. Please can we also give the Vice Chancellor a round of applause while he comes for his address.
Our very senior elders and colleagues, Professor Ame and Professor that are here. Let me also very specially recognize the family of our great mentor. I'm not from the Faculty of Life Sciences, but I'm someone who had also looked up to him in very high respect when we joined the university. Distinguished other participants at this event, I'd like to welcome you all. Today, indeed, it's you know, a day that we reflect back to the good things that some of our elders have done. And I would like to especially congratulate the Dean of the Faculty for ensuring that events like this are created. Over time, it is so easy for us to forget where we are coming from and the people who have made difference to our lives and to this institution. I always reflect, you know, each time we come to this hall and we see our founder, the late Sandona of Sokoto, who had made it possible for many of us to be where we are. We're only privileged to be here today. Many have gone. May their soul rest in peace. To the family, we continue to pray for the repose of your dad. May his soul rest in peace. Professor Ahmed, like the Dean has said, means so much to everyone. And like earlier I once said, I looked at him from afar. We were at the Faculty of Environmental Design, very close to microbiology. So each time we pass, we see a tall, lanky man, humble, nice, very quiet all the time. He commands a lot of respect. You didn't need to know him, to talk to him, but when you see him, you know that that's a perfect gentleman. We have heard so much about how he had mentored people. And it's great, I know even some of our elders that are seated here have benefited tremendously from him. So we need to learn from this humble gentleman and to try to do even more than what he did. These are difficult times, but we have to try. Professor Ame and Professor Ibrahim, these are also people that I personally deeply respect for their contribution to the growth of this institution. You are lucky as a faculty, you have had mentors These are the kind of people we should celebrate all the time. At their age, they continue to give back. As I was sitting next to him, he said he's worried that are we indeed, as the national anthem said, to hand over a banner without stain to the next generation. And I said to him, sir, you've done enough. You're passing a banner without stain to those students that you have mentored. And I think that this is the kind of spirit we should all have, reflecting back every passing day that we stay alive. Have we given back something beautiful, something that can make others better? We'd like to continue to thank both of you, Sani Ibrahim and Professor Ame, for all the things you continue to do. And we hope and pray that God Almighty will give you more productive years in good health. The role of life sciences obviously is clear to all of us. The father of the medical sciences. I know many years back when Professor Brian Garber took the bold step to split the Faculty of Science into two, a lot of people didn't see sufficient reason in that. But we needed to free up life sciences to grow and to make even greater contributions. We're happy today that you're not failing us, Faculty of Life Sciences. We'd like to urge you to continue to do the best that you can. Today, you are hosting the African Center for Neglected Tropical Disease. That has made so much progress and continues to carry the flag of this university across the world. Only last week, I joined them with some of your brilliant scientists, one of whom is going to be speaking today, Professor Emmanuel Balogun, who has registered so many patents, to visit the University of Glasgow, the University of Salford, where we had very productive interactions, everything around life sciences. We'd like to continue to ask, and we'll continue to do the needful to support you as a family, to ensure that you continue to deliver services to train the next generation of our scientists that can make the necessary breakthroughs. We have lots of challenges dealing with medical issues. Certainly, they have no border. And that was why we made that effort to have handshake across Europe and Asia to see, and in particular, to see how we can solve our own problems. Drug development that is accessible and affordable. We would like to encourage you as a faculty to continue to do the needful so that we can cross over as our own contributions to society. On behalf of management, I'd like to thank you once again for inviting me. I won't be able to stay longer. I'm sure most of you know the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic lost his wife yesterday. We need to give him all the support we can. So I'll have to leave you after this to stay with him. Thank you, and God bless all of you.
Thank you very much, Vice Chancellor. Sir, please can we once again put our hands together for the Vice Chancellor? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, before the Vice Chancellor takes his leave, we will play on a documentary on Professor E. Ahmad.
Few individuals rise beyond titles and achievements to embody something far, far better: humanity. This is the story of Professor Aliyu Alkali Ahmad, a founding pillar of microbiology and virology in Nigeria, a vice chancellor, a national asset, an academic statesman, and above all, a humble servant of knowledge who shaped thousands of lives. Born with a brilliant mind and quiet strength, young Ahmad grew up with an insatiable curiosity for the invisible forces that shape the world. His academic journey took him beyond Nigeria's borders. With a Bachelor of Science in Microbiology from Colorado State University in 1969. In 1975, Professor A. Ahmed obtained his master's degree in microbiology from the University of Arizona. His PhD was obtained in 1983 from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, in the same microbiology department. His return to Nigeria after his studies was not simply patriotic, it was transformative. It set the foundation for a life devoted to building institutions, nurturing scholars, and advancing scientific knowledge. Upon returning, Professor Ahmad embarked on a journey that will profoundly impact microbiology in Nigeria. He joined ABU Zaria in 1971 and eventually becoming a professor of microbiology in 1989. He helped establish robust undergraduate and postgraduate microbiology programs across Nigerian universities. His laboratory systems, practical manuals, and diagnostic frameworks are still in use today. He also helped in establishing research structures that strengthen virology, bacteriology, and immunology nationally. He also trained a generation of microbiologists through decades of intensive teaching, curriculum development, and laboratory mentorship. His international exposure earned him the WHO Fellowship from 1973 to 1975. He got the USAID Fellowship from 1965 to 1969. These achievements enriched not just his scholarship, but Nigeria's scientific landscape. Professor Ahmad's leadership portfolio at ABU was vast and unrivaled. His CV documents over 50 major administrative and national roles. Major academic and administrative positions at ABU include: he was the head microbiology diagnostic unit, ABU Teaching Hospital from 1971 to 1974. He was a member, Faculty Board of Medicine from 1971 to 1983. Professor Ahmad was the chairman, Admissions Committee, Faculty of Science from 1975 to 1976. He was a member, ABU Senior and Junior Staff Disciplinary Committee, and a member, Academic Planning Committee of ABU from 1987 to 1991. Professor Ahmad was the Director, Center for Biotechnology Research and Training from 2005 to 2006 and later in his career. He served the nation through setting up public health laboratories across Nigeria. He was a member of the establishment of Kaduna State University and also a consultant to Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON. Professor Ahmad was also a member, National Advisory Committee for Agricultural Research from 1993 to 1995, and later became an executive member of Pan-African Virology Association. Prof. Ahmad was appointed to NUC National Seminar on Laboratory Equipment Maintenance. He was also appointed to NUC accreditation panels to universities across Nigeria, government councils of federal and state institutions. He was part of committees on science education and technical board development. These roles showed that Prof. Ahmad was more than an academic. He was a national builder trusted with sensitive, high-impact responsibilities. And yet, through all of these, his humility never died down. To his students, Prof. Ahmad wasn't just a lecturer. He was a confidant, a father figure, and a compass. He mentored students from every region of Nigeria, young lecturers who later became professors, deans, and VCs, scientists across disciplines, including medicine, biotechnology, and public health. He never saw tribe, religion, or social class as a barrier. At all costs, at all time, humanity was his guiding principle. A common testimony from one of his mentees was Prof. Ahmed employed people from everywhere. He saw potential, not tribe. He saw humanity, not labels. His mentorship was not accidental. It was and deeply compassionate. In 1995, he became the Vice Chancellor of Modibo Adama University of Technology, Yola, serving until 1999. His administration was defined by academic restructuring, strengthening of research culture, transparent governance, human-centered leadership. People of Modibo Adama recalled a VC who worked among students, solved crises with calm wisdom, led with fairness, not fear. He smiled even under pressure. Many still remember him as Mautech's most beloved vice chancellor. Even after he developed a kidney condition, Prof. Ahmad continued teaching, mentoring, and contributing to national committees. He never withdrew from service. He passed away on the 6th of July 2019, aged 75 years. He survived by his wife, 7 children, numerous grandchildren, and numerous grandchildren. He was buried in Yola after prayers attended by scholars, traditional leaders, colleagues, and thousands who came to honor him. The tributes that followed were heartfelt. You could hear things like, "Prof was a friendly and courteous man. His smile could brighten your day. He was too humble for a man of such achievements. He built microbiology in this country. He gave me my first opportunity when others shut the door." Prof. Ahmad made everyone feel important. These words are not ceremonial. They are the truth of who he was. Professor Ahmad's life teaches that true greatness lies in kindness over authority, service over ego, humanity over identity. He showed that knowledge should uplift, not intimidate. Leadership should heal, not divide. Excellence should be shared, not hoarded. His legacy lives on. Laboratories he built, curricula he designed, universities he strengthened, thousands of students and scientists he raised, national systems he shaped, families he supported. He was not just an achiever, he was a builder of people, institutions, and futures. Though he is no longer with us, his footsteps still echoed in ABU's lecture halls, in Mautech's administrative blocks, in laboratories across Nigeria, in the lives of scholars worldwide that he touched. He passed on, but his light remains. As long as people value integrity, humility, and service to humanity, Prof. Aliyu Ahmad will never truly die.
Thank
Good day
you.
all. I am Professor Ahmadu of the Department of Microbiology. I am the current Dean of the Faculty of Life Sciences. Where do I start with? Professor Ahmad was my mentor, my father, my guardian. He was my everything. He secured my admission into microbiology and supervised my master's PhD work. He guided me through while I was in microbiology. He saw me through. He was a father that I could run to. His doors were wide open to me. He was like father to us because we lost our father and our mom a long time ago. He was a father to my siblings, Professor Yakubu Amimi Dodona. He was one that secured a job for Yakubu, and Yakubu went to, when he was the Vice Chancellor of Mautech, and Yakubu went to Mautech and started teaching. He met his wife. Professor Ahmad was a mentor par excellence. He was a gentleman. He was a confidant. He taught me everything I know about virology. He saw me through. That is why if I'm a great virology, like people say today, is because of Professor Ahmad. I go in everything I know about teaching. He taught me how to write. He taught me how to prepare lecture notes. He taught me how to teach. It was Professor Ahmad that taught me all that. He guided me throughout my career until he left us in 2019. I want to say to his family, though Professor Ahmad has gone before us, is there. I know is in the bosom of Almighty Allah. Don't worry. His legacy that he has left. He has left indelible marks that we should be proud of. And I want to say that may God continue to forgive his shortcomings and grant him Ajena Vidosi, because he was a father that I didn't have when I met him. And he was the one. I want to say today that I was not admitted to study microbiology, I was admitted to study chemistry. It was Professor Ahmad that I remember that evening that I went to him. The first list was out, second list was out, third list was out. It was the supplementary list when he was the assistant dean that he penned down my name. I was 23 under chemistry and I was admitted to study chemistry. At the end of the day, he made it possible for me to change from chemistry to microbiology. And today, I'm that virologist I am because of Professor Ahmad. Because I was the only person at that time that was admitted to study chemistry, that transferred from chemistry to microbiology because of Professor Ahmad. And I can't thank him enough for all he did for me and my family. I just pray that God will continue to grant the family the fortitude to bear the loss of this great man that I can call Professor Ahmad, because he was a gentleman, he was a father. He was somebody that took everybody as his children. He never discriminated. He kept microbiology as one, and microbiology was there. Microbiology was like number one because of Professor Ahmad. And I pray that may God rest his soul. Thank you.
My name is Professor I.H. Nock of the Department of Zoology. My background is not actually zoology, my first training. My first training was in microbiology. Many in this faculty don't know. So I had contacts with Professor Ahmed as far back as 1978 at one level we specialized out. All right, so I still remember very well. He taught us the course we now know as virology. Very, very quiet gentleman. In fact, if you are looking for a staff you can easily relate with, is Professor Ahmed. Those days, our lecturers were more like semi-gods. Let me put it that way. You stand at a distance to talk to them. I came back later on to pick up an appointment here, and he was here with me. Or we were here together. So at that point, we related very well again. Most of my referee reports, he writes them for me. Incidentally, I think I don't remember now, and then returned back. On return, for me, he's one of the few VCs that ever served as VC and returning back to ABU to teach. I don't have a record of anybody at that point in time that had to come back immediately to teach, but he did that. And incidentally, he was given a house in Area H. That's like 2. So we became neighbors again. And incidentally, again, we appointed to a committee for the establishment of Kaduna State University. Sometimes he will pick me in his car, I will move to Kaduna. So we're very close. You can imagine how a student could relate with his boss at that level. But that was also Ahmed. Very, very easygoing. I don't think I can say all about him. Ahmed is an embodiment for anybody who wants a father, who wants a husband, who wants a relative, who wants everything of a man, of a gentleman. Professor Ahmad is just that. So I want to say, all past greetings to his family. I know they've missed him a lot, just like we missed him. But I'm sure the children and the wife will be proud of a humble man like Professor Ahmad. Thank you very much.
I am Professor Danladi Ahmadu Abe. I am a professor of biochemistry. I work with the Department of Biochemistry at Bello University. I came in contact with Professor Ahmad in 1975 when I was then in part 2 and bacteriology. You know, Professor Ahmed is a complete gentleman. You know, when we met him, he would start his lectures sometime depending on the mood he finds you. He may crack some jokes to make you at home. And since some of us were not students of microbiology, he tries to make us get interested in microbiology by, you know, giving some stories about discoverers, like, you know, the story of fermentation. It was the one that told us the story of how the fermentation was discovered. What we now see more as a biochemistry matter. It started with a microbiologist or a chemist who was interested in microbiology. And Professor Ahmed served the faculty of science then in different capacities. He was a deputy dean, assigned dean was, I think, of the faculty. And he also served as head of department of microbiology for some time. Like I said, one of the distinguishing characteristics of Professor Ahmed is humility. You cannot get a man that is more humble than him. Very humble, you know, very humble. And I remember seeing him get angry in the class. I never saw him get angry in the class. Of course, you know, students can do many things that could get a lecturer angry. But I never saw him get angry with us in the class. This was 1975 when I took microbiology as subsidiary option. In those days, biochemistry and microbiology students used to take courses together fully in part 2. We took all the microbiology courses then, and then at the end of first term, not semester then you start taking courses in your own department more. If not, we were taking courses together. And one of the things that I did biology, or I was not too good at, is looking at the microscope. Yes, sometimes you are looking at some things, and especially when you are using times-40 magnification to focus, was a problem for me. I was afraid of breaking the slide, you know, and because of his patience, he will come and stand beside you and make sure you to focus and do the right thing. One of the persons that also did something close to that was Brent Harris. Brent Harris was a botany school. Was a botany. He will come and stand beside you and make sure you do the right thing. You are able to see the thing that you should be seeing. I want to say the family of President Ahmed are lucky that he left a legacy of somebody they should be proud of, somebody who was humble, even in power. Even when he became vice chancellor elsewhere, and he came here, and we went to greet him, you didn't see the air of being a big man, at him at all. You didn't see that. So the family should be proud of him, and I want to say to the family that yes, he has left a big backing. His children, I don't know them, but it's a big shoe that they should get into and keep the good name that he has made flying.
I am Mrs. Eno Adai, the Chief Technologist in the Department of Microbiology. I was one of the sets employed by Professor Ahmad. He's such an extraordinary person. In fact, I talk about him all the time. I make it whenever I see things not going right. He's the only person that comes to mind. Detribalized Nigeria. We were 5 in number at that time. Zubero was from Kaduna State, Ajara was from Kogi, Agbola was from Kwara, I'm from Akwa, Onaji was from Benue. For example, I think it was deliberate. He didn't employ different tribe. He made sure there was a balance, diversity. I think he saw strength in diversity. And the department had no face. Where he as a family, nobody knew where anybody come from. And again, he balanced religion. I never seen such a thing. He never employed two Muslims at a time. You see him employ a Christian, two Muslims, two Christians. And I never saw him, because I've been in this family for a long time, I never saw him employ two tribes at the same time. I think it was deliberate. And the department was so good because it was a mini Nigeria. We saw ourselves as Nigerians, first and foremost. We saw ourselves, in fact, that time, I didn't even know. We didn't ask anybody, where do you come from? We didn't even know what tribe was all about. Honestly, very candid. And when I came in here, I saw also a man of compassion. It was extreme in that aspect. He mentioned the welfare of staff was anything. But that was the time that he first of all instituted the welfare committee for microfinance department, which became a kind of program that was copied by so many departments in this university. He started from this department. I was the chairperson. I'm the chairperson of welfare. Any staff that was sick, until that got married, he will fuel the departmental vehicle. Whenever the marriage took place, he will always be there. He will always make sure the department is well represented. And again, he was very passionate about respect for everyone. Very passionate. Because he talked about it. We had several meetings when there was going to be maybe like a class between academic staff and technical staff. Prof will call us, we'll call a meeting immediately. We'll call the academic staff, will call us together at the point. They will start telling us that, see, if the cleaner refuses to clean for 2 weeks, nobody will be able to work in that environment. He was emphasizing the importance of the lowest. And he said every human being deserves respect. And he said respect is reciprocal. God will judge us based on what people say about us and not what we say about ourselves. He's not here now. So many people have said so many things about it. He's not here to, he's not the one talking now. It's people that have had the impacts of what they are doing. So for all of us still remaining in this world, make sure you make impact, not necessarily for your family members, for others around you. And that's what he did. And that is why we love him, appreciate him, and he left indelible mark. He left a record that cannot be erased, that cannot even be achieved by anyone else. So for Professor Ahmad, I wish him, let him rest in perfect peace. I wish him the very best. And for you, family, I wish you, don't cry, don't weep. This was the best of the best. I have not lost him. We are here to make sure he lives on.
My name is Dr. Habib Atta of the Department of Microbiology, Ahmadu University, Zaria. I know Prof. Ahmad as a father and my lecturer when I was on undergraduate studies. He was very key in my employment in the department. He was a very good mentor and he was a very loving person. My relationship with him goes beyond just teacher and students, because even I pray that Allah comforts his family. I pray that Allah grants him Al-Jannah to Firdaus. His legacy will continue to live on, and we'll miss him in the Department of Microbiology. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Professor Saleh Ado, the staff of this department. Professor Ahmad is like a father figure to me, a mentor virtually to all of us in this department. In fact, he was one of those that laid the foundation of microbiology in Nigeria. He is in the class of people like Luka Okafo, Luka Uraya, Ikoni Breme, and so forth. He was instrumental to my coming to this department as a graduate assistant in 1990 after my youth service. In fact, I was doing the service somewhere at Plateau State.
he sent a personal letter to me to come back and join the department. And that was the beginning. And when I was in the department, he mentored me, and I followed through his tutelage to reach where I am today. I was very close to him. He's like a father to me, as I said, always with him, with the family, up to the point of his death. In fact, to his death, I was in his house. We discussed in this department and all over the country. So we really missed him, and we really missed him, but there's nothing we can do. God knows the best. It's his time to go, and we are for the family. Our heartfelt condolences are always in the family. We pray that Almighty God, Allah, will grant him eternal rest in the little Firdaus.
I am Professor Elijah E. Ella, Department of Microbiology, ABA here. Actually, it's a pleasure and it's a great honor to talk about Professor Ahmad, A. Ahmad. I can't talk so much about him. I have so much to say. I want to say for the first, he was the one that employed me in this department. I came here as a technologist under him. He knocked me to the position of until I attained and got my PhD in microbiology. I want also to say that on a final note that he was the one that graduated me in my PhD. I was his last PhD in his department. And he made sure I was.
He dispatched his mails, he alone. He take it in his hand just like this, he just hold it like this and have his way to the Senate building, especially things that are very important to him regarding himself or any other staff that is following. He goes directly himself. Prophet Ahmad, but we live with him, we enjoy staying with him. He's a very humble and very good person. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant him Jannatul Firdaus. May Allah forgive all his sins and grant him Jannatul Firdaus.
I am Professor.
A mentor, very humble, quiet all the time. We pray that may Almighty God in His infinite mercies continue to grant him eternal rest and make Jannatul Firdaus his final abode. Once again, thank you very much. And before we ask Chancellor to add to other university functions, we will take a group photograph here before the Vice Chancellor leaves. We start with the members of the high table first, then the family members, and then professors and other members will join. Thank you. Saboda mene?
All right.
Okay. Yeah, you see? It's just an experiment.
All the HODs, micro, botany, zoology.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I believe we can now continue. But before we proceed, our lecturers and senior professors were giving tributes to late Professor Ahmed Al-Kali. But personally, even though I am not Faculty of Sciences, I am of the Faculty of Social Sciences, but I knew Professor Ali Ahmad as a student back then in secondary school. And I happened to be in the same class with one of his daughters, Aisha Ali Ahmad. And I knew how humble, kind-hearted Professor Ali Ahmad was. And I remember how then, he was giving us chocolate and biscuit back then when we were kids in secondary school. We continue to pray for the repose of his soul, and we pray that Almighty Allah continue to grant him eternal rest. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, quickly before we proceed, may I also invite to the high table the Director of University Health Services, Professor Dauda Mohammed Megatari. You're welcome, sir. The head of departments, all heads of Department of Life Sciences, Botany, Biochemistry, Zoology, Biology, please you should all come to the high table. The Director of Counseling and Human Development Center at Bello University, Zaria, Professor Khadija Ahmed Tukur, is here ably represented by the Deputy Director, Malam Salis Isa. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir. Now, the HODs, please. All HODs. Professor Kogi, please. The HOD biochemistry, HOD botany, HOD zoology. You all should come to the high table, please. Thank you. And then other, you just can fill the empty spaces in front. Now, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the next item is the keynote address on the fallen. Okay, the assistant dean, Dr. Yahuza Tanimo, please come to the high table, sir. The next item is keynote lecture, a tribute, the fallen heroes of the Faculty of Life Sciences, tribute to Professor Ali Ahmad Al-Ali. And the keynote speaker for today is Professor Sani Ibrahim. Professor Sani Ibrahim, sir, with the permission of the former Deputy Vice Chancellor Academics, may I humbly and respectfully request that you rise and remain standing while I take your citation, sir. No, I mean with the permission of the, yes. He's the acting VC now, sir. In the absence of the Vice Chancellor, he becomes the Vice Chancellor. So, sir, please, you stand here, sir, for others to see you. Professor Sani Ibrahim is a senior faculty member of the the Department of Biochemistry, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, with more than 4 decades of experience in teaching and research in various aspects of biochemistry, including medical, environmental, natural product, enzymology, biotechnology, and forensic science. He obtained his BSc and MSc biochemistry from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria in 1980 and 1986, respectively. In 1991, he obtained his DPhil biochemistry from the University of Sussex, Brighton, United Kingdom. His academic pedigree and teaching experience provided him with wider understanding of life science-related disciplines, including biochemistry, microbiology, forensic science, nutrition, and biochemical engineering. He contributed immensely to the success recorded by Africa of Excellence on neglected tropical diseases and forensic biotechnology, and he is the principal investigator of forensics. Some of his students include late Professor Jonathan Andrew Nock, Professor A. Shugaba, former Vice Chancellor, University of Maiduguri, Professor L.B. Buratai, the current Vice Chancellor of Nigerian Army University, BU, Borno State, and other professors and mentees in academia from ABU, UNIMED, Abuja, BUK, UDUS, FUT, Mina, KASU, FUD, etc., and industries both within and outside the country. He has to his credit more than 80 scientific articles in national and international journals and shared his research experience and findings in more than 50 scientific conferences within and outside the country. He is a member of Nigerian Society of Biochemistry and Molecular Biology and Biotechnology Society of Nigeria. Professor Sani Ibrahim, as an effective supervisor, a mentor, and a university lecturer for more than 43 years, has supervised more than 25 PhDs to completion, 45 MScs, and hundreds of undergraduate students. He is a Fellow of Science Association of Nigeria and a member to various professional bodies, including NSB, MB, NSN, etc. Professor Sani is happily married with children and grandchildren. The chairman, sir, members of the high table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I present to you our keynote speaker for today, Professor Sani Ibrahim. Please, let's give him a round of applause while he comes for the presentation. Thank you.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, members of the high table, the deans here present, directors here present, my colleagues, my fellow students. By the time this finished the citation, I couldn't recognize myself because, well, my task today is a very difficult task and simple. Simple in the sense that most of what I would say have already been said by the video and the other testimonies that come. However, when you are talking about a wonderful man like Professor Ahmad, you cannot say too much because, like I said, and I was reminded by the former DG of Energy that I'm one of the people that are very close to him and distant to him. His nature. You can be as close as possible with you, but at the same time, keep a reasonable distance. Because most of the things that we say, but let me get on with my presentation. I will start by discussing the person. A lot of things have been said about him. All I need to do is just to add two. He's a classical Fulani man, but tribe, religion, and status did not matter to him. He saw humanity, not levels. That's what Professor Ahmad is, or was. He was born in 20th December 1944 in Yola, Adamawa State, and spent most of his academic career in ABU Zaria. After completing his basic education in Nigeria, he proceeded to US, where he obtained 2 other degrees and returned home and got his PhD in microbiology here. He was a humble, warm, and friendly man, and he's always jovial. Professor Ahmad will always find one joke or the other to break the ice, to make you laugh, to relax with him. That's how he starts with you. He was a very unassuming, courteous, and his smile always brightened anybody's day. To his students, Professor Ahmad wasn't just a lecturer, he was a refuge, a father figure, and a pillar for support. You have heard from his former students. Each and every one. His CV records more than 50 major appointments, each reflecting trust, excellence, and integrity. Because these are the key things that if you read his obituary spoke volumes about him. But there is something that nobody mentioned about Professor Ahmad in all these things that we have said. He is humble, gentle, quiet, but he's a very firm person. If Professor Ahmad believes in something, he doggedly make sure that the right thing is done. He will smile, but he will insist that you do the right thing. And one thing that I was also reminded now, how when I've just finished my PhD around 1990, he insisted, Sani, you must come back home. Then I said, why, sir? He said, come and let us build this place. I said, sir, you've already built the place. Ours is just to furnish it. He said, come and do the furnishing, nonetheless. So the thing, when I was in the US, he insisted that I must come back. I said, why? He said, look, you are working with one of the best biologists in the world. And biology is my passion. You must come back and continue where we stop. So like I said, sometimes it's difficult for you to hold tears when I saw him when he was ill. Because this was a very strong, vibrant, jovial man, but the illness, So he said, look, because if you break down, I'll break down. That was how Professor Ahmad was. He was a wonderful man. They already mentioned about his academic qualifications from Colorado University, where he had his BSc, Arizona, where he had his MSc, and here in Ahmadu Bello University. What are his professional achievements? He served here over 2 decades. He rose through the ranks and became a professor in 1989. Professor Ahmad held numerous leadership positions, including, I'll mention them because they have all been mentioned by other presenters. Like I said, I intend to be as brief as possible because a lot of this. His last, this was the director of Center University. Now, that is where he's interested in virology. It's not only the dean that was attracted to virology by Professor Ahmad. I was also drawn into virology, and quite a number of work we did in HIV and other things. He also, to the extent that we are one of the crusaders that everybody in the life sciences and medical sciences must know some element of immunology, because if you don't, you are still handicapped, because it pervades almost anything in this immunochemistry and then microbial genetics. He supervised many BSc and MSc and PhD research projects, and many of his students are professors. You've already heard from them, you have seen them, so I don't have to say anything about that. They are all over the nation, and many of his students are also occupying prominent positions in leadership. He's an assessor in many universities. His expertise was sought after nationally and internationally, and he served in many NUC accreditation teams. He was a member of bioethics in UNESCO. He was a consultant to Nigerian Standard Organization. When his friend became Director General, Professor Abalaka, he would always say, "Just Joseph, I don't know what is wrong with you. He's too fast for me." That's Professor Ahmed for you. And he served in many committees. Ishaya was reminding you how they served in the committee to establish Kaduna State University and quite a number of others, and so on and so forth. Again, another contribution, he set many foundations of microbiology and virology education in this country, because these are his impact in science, right? And he established many laboratory systems, strengthened diagnostic microbiology, and trained generation of scholars, clinicians, and researchers. Many of today's leading microbiologists advise and have led others. In fact, he is ill, he's not well, you go to greet him, but he wants to find out about you. What are you doing? Where do you intend to go? And these are some of the personal things that Professor Ahmad always gets you into. And he always wants the best out of you. His life was a testament of service without complaint. He's ill, but he will never complain. I don't know whether he complained to members of his family, but to us, Prof will never complain. He will just say, well, that's the word God wants us to be. And that's it. That's it. He gives a leadership without arrogance. That has been mentioned by and the students. You've heard from so many of them from the presentation made. He transformed so many lives. Right. This is the enduring legacy of Professor Ahmed Al-Kali. Aliyu Ahmed Al-Kali. We all know him as Professor Ahmed, so we mixed up the names, right, and so on and so forth. He survived by his wife, 7 children, and numerous grandchildren. He was buried in Yola. He's a scholar, a pioneer, a leader, a timeless inspiration. He inspired all of us. And then I thank you very much for this brief. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Please can we once again give Professor Sani Ibrahim another round of applause.
Chairman, sir, all has been said about Professor Ahmadu, who was a father figure, a mentor to all of us in the Department of Microbiology, the university. He was a pillar of microbiology profession. He was one of the pillars that established the Nigerian Society for Microbiology. And what has not been said here is because of his contribution to microbiology profession, we in the society, Nigerian Society for Microbiology, conferred on him a fellow. So before his death, he was a fellow of Nigerian Society for Microbiology. Another thing that perhaps have not been said, we have my elder academic father and mentor, Professor Sani Ibrahim,
that I wasn't sure what it was, but somehow somebody got my CV to late Professor Ahmed. Professor Ahmed did not know, I didn't even know, we have never met. But to show you that he truly had eyes for talent, he didn't have to see him. Professor Ahmed took it upon himself to go to then Vice Chancellor Professor S.U. Abdullahi. For a long time, I didn't hear anything from AVU. Then one night, I was in my room, and I got a call from the Vice Chancellor. I was later to learn all over that. And that's how I became a reader. Just about, I think, 6 or 7 months after I was employed here. So ladies and gentlemen, what I'm telling you is this. Everything you have heard about is true. It has reflected in the lives of many, many people. I myself included. I mean, somebody he didn't know, he had never met, and he took up my case because he had eyes for talent. For other people. May he continue to rest in genetic frequency. Thank you very much.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I actually sought for permission because I think the Master of Ceremony says just 2 comments, but I had a problem with telling me. I said, if I don't share my very few moments of interaction with this great person, I'll be very, very guilty. So I said, let me just share something, no matter how insignificant it will seem. I would say, my first and only interaction with this great man that we're talking about, that was in 1989, when I actually applied for admission. Now, let me just give you a little background. I didn't come to 100 level, I came into direct entry. And my combination was, because there was a deficiency in physics then, my combination was. So those days now, we hear a lot of stories. I knew of a senior colleague that got MBBS with that combination in Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto. So I was excited, so I applied. So unfortunately for me, I didn't get to be admitted to read medicine, but they gave me biochemistry. Biochemistry was admission to Usman Danfodio, Sokoto. Sorry, Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto.
But I got the notice of admission very late, actually. So somehow, just to cut the long short, I was discouraged. So on my way back, I actually went to Sokoto, collected admission later, did some preliminary documentation, but I gave up. The Sokoto was very far, and I didn't give my first choice. So on my way coming from, this is Zaria is along Sokoto Road. So I was coming back from Sokoto, and now branch ABU Zaria. I entered the Faculty of Science then, and I went to 2 departments. I interacted with colleagues, 2 colleagues. One, I will not mention his name, because it was an experience, and the other person was Professor Ahmadu. So for the first colleague, because I thought I would apply, they bluntly told me it was too late. I should go and reapply for next year. But it very, directly told me that for a person with this kind of combination, you can never be admitted about the Bello University Zaria. Sciences, yes, because my combination was biology, chemistry, geology. He said, in this science, you can never be admitted. So I left him. I don't want to mention his name because he's my very good friend. Though the consolation is that he's no longer in the ABU. I think I've given the response. Some people will guess the person I'm talking about. He told me probably that even though it come many years to come, you won't get an admission about the Faculty of Sciences. So I left, very young man, innocent, naive, and dejected, and I walked into my microbiology department. And it was very late. Very late. Late as in, I think, I can remember, past 5. The place was quiet. And I saw it go open. 1989, I just heard that's the time he became HOD, right? But when I entered, he was not in the HOD's office. I guess that was his personal office. This is my only interaction with him. So I entered, introduced myself, and said just like him. But it doesn't matter, like people used to say, it doesn't matter. I entered boldly, told him my problem. So, unlike, in contrast to the other experience I have in that department, because what people are saying actually struck a chord within me. I started reflecting. What people are saying resonates with the feeling, my interaction with him. He was not in a hurry. Remember, a big man then, a small, naive young man entering his office. He actually sat me down, and I think I had a counseling. You understand? They gave me option. So contrary to what that other person told me that I will never be admitted, because me, I'm like a moving train. God told us, go back and do physics. Do any physics. I'm a moving train. I'm not going back to do anything again. So he now gave me that assurance that when you go and apply, there are a lot of options for you in the ABU area. Like I said, I don't want to waste your time. As the saying goes, what is that popular saying? History. What that popular saying again? The remaining is history. God bless you, my speaker. The remaining is history. Today I'm in ABU, I'm a professor. I'm the director of one of the centers that is even contributing to ABU development. All thankful. Again, the other encounter was with his nephew, Aliyu. Very striking resemblance, like carbon copy. What he told me is that he was not a biological father. I think he was in maths department. He was in maths department. But later on he left. And he was very honest with us because we were at parties then. He was honest with us. He said, I can lecture in He told us very honestly. I think that time I was going for my PhD in China. I think he had left. So I just whispered to his brother there. He told me that he's in Abuja. It was my party. So, like I said, if I don't mention this one, I will feel very guilty. He didn't teach me directly, but my little interaction with him actually struck a chord with me. A balancing chord with me. Thank you for giving me. I mean, it's great soul, perfect peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. The tributes are enormous. I think if we continue to talk about Professor Ali Ahmad Al-Ali, we will spend the whole day without exhausting half of what people have in their minds about him. So quickly, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, May I invite to the high table a former dean of the Faculty of Life Sciences, Professor Ike Adamu. You're welcome, sir. Please come to the high table, sir. Thank you, sir. Please keep on clapping while Prof come. Thank you. Thank you, sir. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I was reliably informed that Professor Ali Ahmed Al-Khali's students from Yola are here. So please, all the students he taught and spoke from Yola, if you're here, please kindly indicate by standing up. In fact, including ABU. Please, let's see you. All the students he has supervised and taught. Can you stand, please? Okay. There are so many of them. Thank you very much. Thank you very much once again. And the chairman, sir, there are so many people who are with us virtually. There are so many people who are with us virtually, sir. So we would like to acknowledge their presence and pray that they continue to be with us to the end of the program. Thank you. And quickly, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, next is the plenary lecture on the exploitation of redox pathway and antiparasitic drug discovery, to be delivered by Professor Emmanuel O. Balogun of the Ministry here in EBU Zaria. Please can we give him a round of applause while he comes for the presentation. Thank you. I'm sorry to see, sir, you have 30 minutes. Okay, I should be able to do that. What happened? Light. Light. Oh, energy. All right. So I think I will just start. So, yeah, I will start, but it's difficult to start to teach to discuss my topic without the slides. Anyway, so thank you very much, the Vice Chancellor, sir, and most importantly, my teachers who have done a great job in molding, shaping my lives. And importantly also, I would mention that I am also one of Professor Ahmad's students. He taught me virology during my master, and after that, he just piqued interest in me and asked me to come and give him my progress report every month. I'm from biochemistry and microbiology, and we always had very interesting discussion. However, I want to mention something. I'm not putting this for discussion to microbiology department, but I think from the interaction I had with Prof, it seems they have a little bit deviated. Prof will be happy with what is currently the situation in microbiology. With respect to the teaching biochemistry, it seems many courses in biochemistry that the microbiology students usually take or used to take then have been dropped. I think I just want to mention this because of my, So the key points of my discussion this afternoon is redox pathway. These are key points: pathway, antiparasitic, and drugs. So these are the three key things that we'll be discussing. And I wish maybe in the course that the light will come back so that we can see what I'm talking about. But I will start theoretically. This job is a little bit tough in the sense that I'll be discussing science I understand from here, I can see a number of non-scientists, people from other disciplines that are not science. So what are parasites? As we know, it's just simple English. Parasites are organisms that live on another organisms, deriving benefits, while the organisms that live upon do not derive any benefit. Actually, they live at the expense of the other organism. So, and this may cause discomfort and may even lead to disease, and eventually, if not treated, there can be death of that organism, which is we call the host. All right. There are two general categorization of parasites. You have what we call ectoparasites and endoparasites. Ectoparasites are things like fleas that live on the skin, and then endoparasites are those that live within the system of the host, either human being or any other mammal or even plants. So in the endoparasite, you have those that live within, for instance, those that live within the gut, like the helminths, and then you have those that live in the circulation, in blood circulation. Among those two, those that live within the circulation can also be distinguished into two, what we call extracellular parasites. Example is trypanosomes, and then intracellular parasites. Example is malaria, and caused by Plasmodium falciparum. How do they lead to disease? Usually, there is a slide here which I usually show, which talks about the pathway. That is the other key point. What is the pathway? A pathway is just shows it's chemical series of products in the course, deriving energy or secondary metabolites, and each step is catalyzed by proteins called enzymes usually. So how do parasites cause disease? How do this disease manifest? In simple terms, I know if I open up this to discussion among the medics, we have veterinarians here, we have medical doctors here, there will be different we have zoologists here, biologists, there will be different kind of definition of a parasite or of a pathway. So, so what they do basically is that they change the metabolic states. Sorry, I think, can I? Is it okay? Good. Okay, so when I was in 200 level, I took a course called Gens 102, Environmental Health, where they said health is a complete absence of a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, not necessarily the absence of infirmity or a disease. Okay, so if we think about this way, so a disease manifests from biochemical point of view, from biochemistry point of view, a disease manifests when there is a shift or there is a disturbance in these metabolic pathways. You can see here, if something happened along the way, the disease will manifest. And the reason is because the basic function of the pathway is to provide energy or to detoxify the system. So if there is a shut anywhere, there will be accumulation of toxins, and then there will be no energy. If there's no energy, the organism will not be able to function appropriately. So there are different kinds of diseases, just like we mentioned. I won't go into this because some of them we're already familiar. Some of them are transmitted by vectors. Some of them are not transmitted by vectors. Example of those that are transmitted by vectors, of course, there are things like malaria, African trypanosomiasis, and those that are not transmitted by vectors, which are parasites, examples are helminths, okay, what we usually call worms. And why is it of any significance to us? Because Africa, globally, there are over 2 billion people that are affected by soil-transmitted helminthiasis. And in Nigeria alone, 54% of children are infected by this disease. We're talking about a population of not less than 50 to 60 million. So it's a serious problem in our country. Generally, we know how they are transmitted through, when an infected person excretes the eggs into the environment, and then it ends up in the circulation, in the human system via food. Okay, that's how we get it. And then the other one that is transmitted by a vector, an example which I will highlight here is African trypanosomiasis, or we all know that it's transmitted by tsetse flies caused by trypanosomes that swim in the blood of organisms, and then eventually you will have the disease if not treated. The organism may die eventually. It's a big problem because Africa loses about $5 billion worth of animals annually because of this disease. And of course, more than 4,000 people are lost annually to this disease. There is no vaccine, so our interest is in drug discovery. You remember the subject of my talk is exploiting the respiratory, the redox pathway for drug discovery against antiparasitics. So what are drugs? Drugs are those chemicals that will be able to restore normalcy to a dysfunctional pathway. Essentially what a drug will do is to be able to correct pathway, a malfunctioning pathway. In some cases, when we talk about parasites, a drug will also induce the same thing. Because the parasites themselves are organisms, they are living organisms. Remember from our definition that they are living organisms themselves, most of them are actually eukaryotic organisms, just like our own cells. So they have their own metabolic pathway. So it is important, therefore, to be able to, how do we differentiate? Because most of the metabolic pathways that occur in us, in the host, also occur in the parasites. Then if we want to exploit, we are talking about exploiting the pathway for drug development. That means we need to study that in very close detail. So here, what we do, I try to look at the criteria for a drug target. What every drug does, well, most drug do is that they have a specific target, and this specific target, they are protein. Most of them are proteins. They are either receptors or they are enzymes in the cell. So when a drug molecule binds to this drug target, it will induce, a change in function. It may shut down the function of that enzyme, of that protein, and therefore there will be, a shift in the function. So there are criteria, or there are three basic criteria for a good drug target. One is that it should be very important to the parasite. It means when it is ablated, the parasite will die and then spare us. Then secondly is that it should be, absent in the host. All right. I mentioned that the pathways are also in the host and in the parasite. And even that the enzyme is present in both the host and the pathogen, it should be significantly different. If these are not, if this is not the case, then it should be very difficult to be able to design a drug. So we continue with that and look at, now the redox pathway is a section of the metabolic pathway which I have highlighted here. In this case, the other part is what we call the redox pathway. That was the expanded one, and the localization of it is in the mitochondrion. Many of us did O-level biology, so we are familiar with this. Every eukaryotic cell have a mitochondrion, just like there's a nucleus, in the cell, there's a mitochondrion. So that is a localization for the electron transport chain or the redox pathway. And what happens? This redox pathway helps the cell to be able to abstract energy from nutrients. For instance, when we eat today, maybe if you drank tea or bread, that's majorly carbohydrate, you metabolize, and then glucose will further metabolize in the cell. And then for every glucose molecule, there will be 38 ATP molecules produced. Okay, so if there's a particular drug that can interfere with this in the parasite, that means the parasite will be devoid of energy. As we saw, when energy went off, we were almost dysfunctional here. So, and I also want to mention that the mitochondrion, it's a very important organelle in the cell. From our O-level biology, we used to say that, or integrated science, that is the powerhouse of the cell. It's gone again. That is the powerhouse of the cell. Okay, so meaning the power. Some weeks ago, I was here. I listened to Dr. Abdrashid's lecture on Kanji, on power generation. So the mitochondria is something like Kanji, power, or Shiroro, where energy is generated. So we have seen that when there is dysfunctional in Kanji or Shiroro, there is problem with power in the country, and that affects the economy of the country, which is like affecting the health of the cell. So just realize how to picture these for those that are non-biologists like me. So, and in this, in the mitochondrion, there are different kind of compartments. We won't go into that, but importantly, there's a part of the mitochondrion called the inner mitochondrial membrane. That is where the redox pathway resides. And within the redox pathway, it's made up of we call them 5 different protein complexes. Complex 1, complex 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, we call them redox because they are involved in oxidation reduction reactions. That's why they are called redox. And in the process, there is ATP production. So if this process can be truncated at any of the complexes, then there will be problem. So what we have been looking now, I will take you through what we have been doing in our department, in our discipline. So targeting 2 of these key enzymes, that's complex 2 and complex 4, as we will see. So in the complex 2 of, it's no longer moving. Yeah. Excuse me, there's a technical glitch. Okay, wait. All right. Sorry, it is important for us to see the scheme so that we can follow. Obviously, that seems to be the case. Okay, I'll just continue. So
So what we did, we looked at the complex 2. Remember, mitochondria is present in the animal host, or in us, it's also present in the parasite. And in the mitochondria, you have these different complexes. So we also have complex 2 in our system. So, you know, many people used to say that, okay, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. That basic science is no longer important. Honestly, basic science is, of course, it's the basis and foundation of everything. Basic science is always important. Without basic science, there will be most of the discoveries that we have seen. So the complex 2, we studied complex 2 of ascarisum, which is an helminth, and we found out the complex 2 is the same as, is similar in architecture as the complex 2 of the mammals. It's made up of 4 subunits. All right. However, we saw that within the complex 2 there are some regions that are different from the human complex 2. You remember what I told you was a criteria for selecting a drug target. So based on that, we were able to proceed and obtain this particular compound called flutonylin. Flutonylin is one of the very potent inhibitors of complex 2, and it selectively inhibits the complex 2 of the parasites, sparing the complex 2 of humans. That means it cannot induce toxicity, or it cannot cause any form of mishap in the cell. I will not go over. I will not talk about the purification of it. However, of course, we have to purify it. To be able to study anything, you have to purify it. It's like saying you want to get to see the unseen. The microbiologists will tell us that, but we are studying an organelle which is present inside the cell, which is like maybe 1/100th the size of the cell. And for molecular biologists, we are not just studying the organelle at organella level. We are looking at what is the component of the organelle of the mitochondria that makes it functional, which is complex 2. So after studying that, we came up with flutonylin, and then we saw that flutonylin is actually a very specific inhibitor of complex 2 of the worm, and it has proven to be very effective in killing the worms. And in vitro culture of human cells, that's mammalian cells, shows that flutonylin has no effects on the mammalian cell. And this has been tried in lower animals, in mice, in rats. It is very safe. So that means from basic science, we were able to come up with this compound. And of course, in discovery, drug discovery, it's not only the job of a biochemist or a microbiologist or a zoologist or a biologist or a botanist or pharmacist. It's a multidisciplinary, scheme. So we involved synthetic chemists. So we gave them the structure of flutonylin. Look at this. What can you modify to make it more potent? And they did that. So we obtained some derivatives that are also very potent. The other one is the complex 2 of trypanosoma. I talked about complex 2 of helminths. Now, trypanosome, helminths, they are worms, and they are, in the gut. But trypanosomes are systemic parasites that are extracellular. Again, we look at their complex 2. Basic science is looking at trying to see something new. Sometimes we don't know what it can be applied for, but we just want to know, is this different from what we know? So when we studied that, we found out that the complex 2 of trypanosoma, unlike human complex 2, which is 4 subunits, the complex 2 of trypanosoma is 12 subunits. So you will, of course, anybody will guess that means it is very different. However, there is a central core that is the same for all of them, but basically there's difference. So we exploited that, and we did some biochemical evaluations and came up with this particular compound here called cyclinin. Cyclinin is an old drug, but for the first time repurposed for the treatment of African trypanosomiasis. And it's also effective against other parasitic diseases like leishmaniasis and the rest. And particularly, again, importantly, it selectively and specifically inhibits complex 2 of the parasite, sparing that of the humans. So the last one I'm talking about is the terminal oxidase, which is complex 4. Remember, I talked about complex 2 of helminths, complex 2 of trypanosomes. Now I'm talking about complex 4 of mammals, trying to see how does it differ from that of the parasites. And complex 4 is what is called the terminal oxidase. When I was taught the electron transport chain, it is actually the site. Many people know that if you take cyanide, it's poisonous. The person may die within minutes. So that is the target of cyanide. It's complex, it's terminal oxidase with the final acceptor. Again, when we look at the complex 4 of mammals, it's composed of 14 subunits. However, the trypanosomes do not have complex. They have what we call alternative oxidase. Professor Sani Ibrahim worked extensively. He started the work on alternative oxidase, and I went ahead to finish that. I'm so happy that that he laid the foundation, very good foundation for me to study this enzyme, which enhance our success. So the alternative oxidase, because the terminal oxidase in the mitochondria. Unlike complex 4, it is just made up of 2 subunits. It's also very different. So based on these, we know that then again, the alternative oxidase is absent, completely absent in humans. Therefore, any compound or chemical agent that can affect alternative oxidase will have nothing to miss and then obtain many compounds that are very promising, anti-trypanosoma compounds. This particular, the figure down to the right, actually that is from Bashiru's MSc thesis, MSc dissertation. Is Bashiru here? So Bashiru studied the alternative oxidase of trypanosome here in Zaria, and he was able to, find that was also very effective against alternative oxidase. So remember, maybe the take-home message is that for a drug to be designed, there must be a target, and the target must fulfill some criteria. 3 of them. It should be important to the pathogen. It should be absent in the host. If it is present in the host, it should be significantly different. Criteria leads us in the design of chemical agents. So, metabolism, we cannot do without metabolism. Again, I will talk about this. I find it very strange if there are departments that are not doing metabolism in life sciences. This is Faculty of Life Sciences. I think every department, I used to know then, offered this course in biochemistry, some macromolecules. So this is very important because it lays the foundation for drug discovery. I'm sure that I think they do that effectively in pharmacy, and yeah, I know. So in conclusion, the parasite redox enzyme, that is the enzyme in the redox pathway of the parasites, are important. They are validated drug targets, and we have exploited that for the design and discovery of drug candidates. And these compounds, some of them are in clinical trials, some of them, which I also didn't show here, we obtained patents for them. So fulfilling my promise, less than 30 minutes. Just to show lastly, because it's important, I acknowledge my teachers before I started. I must also acknowledge another group of very important people in my life, and these are my students. We have a very dynamic and very young, hardworking students in biochemistry department. They are fun to work with. Most times after working hard, we go out to eat and drink together. So if you like food like me, please come and join our group in biochemistry department. Thank you very much.
So is the food free?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Please, can we once again put our hands together for Professor Emmanuel Bello? Questions and answers. Please, we just entertain 2 questions. Okay, sir.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, member of the High Table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this once again, for this opportunity to ask these questions and comment. I'm also congratulate the plenary speaker, Professor Balogun. We are very proud of you. Some of us that maybe you have passed through us, you can point to you and say, this is our product. We are very proud of you. Keep the flag flying. Yes. I don't like malaria. I can. Nobody likes malaria, but me particularly myself, I don't like malaria at all. I don't know about you. I can catch malaria, treat it, catch it immediately. I don't malaria. I don't like malaria. In fact, if you will remember, some of us will remember in seminars, is here. When you come to talk about what do you call it? This dose that should kill 50% of parasites when you are doing experiment, parasitology. What do you call it? What do you L50? 50. The bad I will say it should be modified. We don't want LC50. LC100. Kill 100% of them. I don't want it. So my comment is, Professor Balogun,
a lot have been done in the field, especially in the field, especially in the ABU. We have a lot of colleagues like you that are actually doing a lot of molecular work concerning controlling parasites. I'm just trying to reflect. Like I said, I don't like malaria. You remember we used to have chloroquine. To me, up till now, chloroquine to me is the best drug. The thing about chloroquine is that this side effect of itching. You understand? I always tell people that give me chloroquine. I prefer the malaria than the itching. But thank God we have other development, we have other drugs. Your, what do you call it? Lonart, all those kind of ones. But I just want us to reflect. In your own view, what should be, are we looking at what should be a revolution in combating malaria? Are we looking at something away from drugs? Something have to do, for instance, gene therapy. Thank God we have people like Professor Ibrahim Sani here. I'm not only asking him, I'm asking like something like gene therapy, because we have done a lot of work. We have a lot of colleagues working on the molecular aspect of mitigating or controlling malaria. So what are we expecting from those research? You understand? That's my, like I said, I don't like malaria. I want it to be eradicated completely. We are always getting drugs here and there again. The other question is, these drugs we are getting, especially from India, are we having input from this kind of molecular research? Remember I raised that question when we were in Japan just recently. Does all these drugs we are getting, do they have input for this kind of, how will they benefit from researches like you and other colleagues are doing? Thank you. I hope you understand. Just for you to reflect. Thank you.
The second question. Okay.
Okay, well, oh, thank you. Just a quick one. The third criterion that the enzyme should fulfill has to do with if it is present in both, it should be significantly different. I didn't quite get the direction of significance. Is it in terms of structure or quantity or function?
So let's just entertain that one.
Thank you very much. I stand on existing protocols. Thank you, Prof, for the lecture. I have a little understanding before the lecture, but after your lecture, my understanding got much better. But I'm still worried to understand in layman's language about antigenic variation. I know it is because of the changes of these shapes, the BSGs. Now, how can you shed a little light so that myself and others will understand why malaria, trypanosomiasis, and viral infections are difficult to be knocked down by drugs? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Maybe I will start with I'll start with the question from my teacher, Prof. Jaffet, about the what is my opinion about elimination or eradication of malaria? Yeah, it has to be, honestly, no one single magic will do that. It has to be multi-sectoral. We need to think about drugs, we need to think about vaccines, we need to think about the environment. Several years ago, I think up till about 60 to 70 years ago, they used to have malaria in Japan. But somehow they were able to eradicate that because they took care of the environment such that the vectors don't breed, okay? And then so it has to be multi-sectoral, not just drug, not just vaccine, but vaccine will significantly help. And then the question about the question from Professor Kogi, when you have your teachers there, I was able to speak fluently here because I have my teachers seated here, they were behind me. And I had Professor Sani rightly mentioned, that's the answer, that structural difference. Yes, so from the structure, the function too may, but eventually everything we have to see. As molecular biologists, we want to see what a molecule looks like. So based from the structure, we'll be able to make design to see, okay, yes, you have complex 2 in the parasite, you have complex 2 also in humans, but from the structure, there is a region that a compound was selectively designed to bind, and that region is absent in the human complex 2. So that's why it was successful. So that's that about. Yes, sir.
You only have to add that binds, it makes it ineffective. Yeah, you have to add that. After binding, it makes it ineffective. So therefore, it cannot be utilized. So that's the only thing.
Thank you very much, sir. Prof just reminded me of one 400-level course that he taught us, and Prof taught us about shivering thermogenesis. I will not forget it. So shivering thermogenesis, when you have malaria, you shiver, right? For many Prof, when you have you shiver. So what we are trying to do is that there is a shift. The malaria pathogens secrete some proteins that pyogens. They set your body temperature in the higher centers from 37 degrees to maybe 42 degrees. And then whatever the brain sets, the body must meet it up. So in that process, you have to shiver so that you generate heat. So when Prof asked that question in 400 level, for first semester, so I said, who knows why it? I said, sir, okay, it's to generate heat. Prof said, no. I said, no, it must generate. Then Prof said, no, it's to generate enough heat. So we said, oh, God wants us to become wizards like him. So about the antigenic variation, this is a very important machinery or mechanism that the pathogen, that's the parasites, for instance, African trypanosomes, use to evade immune response. So, usually, right now, each time we're exposed to continuous assault by microorganisms, our body is able, we're not being sick, or we're not coming down with the immune system, they're able to handle them. Okay, so when you have infection by trypanosomes, it's a particular clonal stage that is there. It means you have a particular antigen on the surface of all the pathogens. So antibodies will be, mobilized, will be produced against that particular, antigen. So brings down the population of the pathogen. Then you have a shift. The parasites also don't want to die. They know they want to survive. They're actually smarter than us. That's why we keep spending billions to study them. So they switch another gene on that will code for a different antigen that the previous antibodies will not recognize. And then they continue to thrive. When it builds a level, antibodies again will produce against those ones, and then the same thing will happen. So the trypanosome, for instance, they have over 1,000 genes that are committed to this machinery, to this very intricate machinery of immune evasion. So it's a way, antigenic variation, just a way to change the antigen on the surface of the parasite.
The bacteria, the viruses, and all other pathogens are living things just like you. They want to live, they want to survive. If I ask you today, how many cells of rice did you kill when you ate your lunch? They have to do what they do. But in the process, unfortunately, you end up dead. But it's for their own survival. And you have to realize that a very smart parasite does not kill quickly. That's why we consider Ebola as being stupid, because when Ebola comes, it gives you just a few days. But if you have a smart one, such as HIV, HIV can be with you for over 20 years without seeing anything. And in those 20 years, you are busy spreading them to other people so that they continue to live. So it's a kind of life struggling system they are. But they want to survive. That's how you should see it. So, and the only way they can survive is how do they deceive your system that they don't exist, that they are not responsible. The way they do it is that their identity card is their surface coating, the proteins they have on the surface. If your body trains itself to kill it, it will now change. It's just like you are colorblind you don't see red. And then you now given a job of killing anything red. Then, but the gunman is colorblind. So how will the gunman see the red thing and kill? And that's how they succeed in killing you. Thank you very much.
A professor had earlier spoken, and then the emeritus professor buttressed on what the professor has said. Once again, thank you very much, sir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, quickly, pardon my shortcomings, please. May I acknowledge the presence of the Dean, Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences, who is here ably represented by the Deputy Dean, Professor S.M. Abdullahi. You're welcome, ma'am. Sorry for recognizing you late, ma'am. The Provost, College of Medical Sciences, Professor Ismaila Ahir Mohammed. Oh, okay, Dr. I.B. Mohammed, the Provost, Professor Ahiru Ismaila Mohammed. You're welcome, sir. And then the Director of National Agricultural Extension and Research License Services, NERLS, is here ably represented by Professor Salisu Haruna Kura. You're welcome, sir. And then Dean, Faculty of Engineering, is here ably represented by Professor Aminu Sali, the Head of Department, Agric Engineering. You're welcome, sirs. Ladies and gentlemen, quickly, to respond on behalf of the family of late Professor Ali Ahmad Al-Ghali, may I invite Mustafa Ali Ahmed. Please can we give him a round of applause while he comes. But before that, let me also specially Ali Aminu, the younger brother of the Dean, Professor Mariam Aminu. You know, as you can see, he had an accident some time ago, now on a wheelchair. But because of the fatherly role Prof played in the life of Professor Mariam, and then by extension his own life, you know, he had to leave whatever it is that he was doing to grace this occasion. Once again, you're welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, respected faculty members, colleagues, friends, and family. May I please indulge you? May I say this existing protocol so that I will not maybe spell some names. Thank you very much. So on behalf of my entire family, I would like to express our deepest gratitude for today's beautiful tribute and the thoughtful lecture series organized in honor of my late father. It is truly moving to see his life, his work, and his passion remembered so warmly by the very community he cherished. To the faculty members who initiated and organized the program, we're profoundly grateful. Your dedication in planning, coordinating, and delivering such a meaningful event speaks not only but also to the respect and affection you have for my father. Thank you for keeping his legacy alive in the institution he devoted so much of his life to. To the speakers and presenters of the lecture series, thank you for sharing your insights, memories, and scholarly reflection. Each contribution has enriched our understanding of the values he stood for and the impact he made in the field. To everyone who took the time to attend, students, colleagues, friends, and well-wishers, thank you for being part of this moment. Your presence is a reminder that though he's no longer with us, the seeds he planted continue to grow in the hearts and minds he touched. We also appreciate all the behind the scenes, the organizing committee, technical staff, and support teams whose quiet but essential work made this event so successful. As his family, the celebration of his life brings us comfort, pride, and renewed strength. We are honored by this recognition and deeply thankful to all of you for preserving his memory with such dignity and love. The Dean Faculty of Life Science, we thank you very much for this honorable event. Thank you, and may his legacy continue to inspire us all. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, can we once again put our hands together for him? Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, the next is vote of thanks and closing remarks by the Assistant Dean, Faculty of Life Sciences, Dr. Tanimu Yoguza. Give him a round of applause too. Thank you.
We are grateful to God for making this event a success. Special appreciation to our Vice Chancellor for making it here in person to present his address. It's special to us. We are grateful, sir. We also acknowledge Professor D.A. Ame. Thank you for coming here in person. We appreciate your presence here. Special appreciation to Professor Eki Adamu. Thank you for being here. We are grateful for our keynote speaker who came here, to the plenary speaker. We appreciate all you have done today. Deans, directors, and center leader, heads of department, thank you also for making our time to be here. We are so much grateful for that. We are thankful to all the professors who left everything to be here. Other members of the university committee, staff and students, thank you for taking out time to be here. And special thanks to Dr. Abdul Rashid, who made the documentary we watched. Thank you very much. I will not forget the members of the Colloquium Committee of the faculty, led by Dr. Aminu Mohammed. And other members, can you rise for recognition? Thank you very much for working hard to make this a success. Members of the Dean's Office administrative staff, they also work behind the scene to make this a success. Thank you very much. And very importantly, we appreciate our Dean for this concept and the idea. And thank you for all the effort you have put to make this a success. Once again, we are grateful to everyone who has made it possible for this program to be a success. It is my prayer that we too, someday, your good deeds will be remembered and honored. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Earlier when they mentioned when we experienced power outage, I was pointing at Dr. Abdul Rashid, telling him that there was power outage, please do something about it. But eventually the light was restored. I don't know what you did, Dr. Abdul Rashid. Anyways, thank you for championing the research on the ABU Energy Innovation Challenge. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have finally come to the end of this event. And you all will agree with me that it has been a moment of tribute, remembrance, and then of course, intellectual discourse. And once again, we pray that may the soul of Professor Ali Ahmad Al-Kali continue to rest in peace. And may the seeds he planted here in Ahmadu Bello University, Nigeria, and beyond continue to grow for the betterment of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ahmadu from the Public Affairs Directorate, Office of the Vice Chancellor here in Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. We started with opening prayers. It is very important that we close with prayers. May we take 30 seconds to pray according to individual faith, please. After the closing prayers, there's going to be a group photograph here in front of the stage. Thank you. Amen. I wish us all safe journey back to our respective destinations. The group photograph, please.
sai yanzu ina jin tausayi wallahi ka san wanda